It sounds nice. I would eat that. I'm sorry, I would eat that. As I previously mentioned, I will never go to Australia, partly because as soon as the temperature climbs above 25 Celsius, I immediately collapse with heat stroke and only be revived with the liberal application of air conditioning. Not me. This is Dave, who wrote today's script. I love it. 25 degrees is just about right for outside temperature. I think that's lovely. I'd like to go to Australia. My main reason is it's really far away. And now I've got kids. There's like no fucking chance of getting on a plane with them for 24 hours because I don't want to live an actual nightmare. But I'd like to go to Australia. I think I've mentioned this before. I kind of see it's like bizarro England, right? In fact, I've got a mate who's Australian. Or he's not Australian, but he lives in Australia. And he's like, it is like bizarro England.
Yeah, right then, that seems fair enough, really.
But mostly because I am, at heart, a realist. And the chances of me having my life ended by a snake, insect, shark, or drop bear greatly outweigh any potential enjoyment that I might get from a holiday. Someone got me with the drop bears previously. I can't remember who it was. They were talking about drop bears. And I'm like, holy shit, that sounds really scary. And then someone was like, mate, that's just a thing we do in Australia. It's called a joke.
No, don't do that.
And I'm like, oh, I see. Funny, mate.
I really don't.
Don't get me wrong, some of the best drunken nights of my life have been spent with Australians, and I really do enjoy their company. However, I have discovered that for some reason, perhaps for the opportunity to go to the toilet without the chance of being bitten by a funnel web spider, the people of Australia frequently visit the UK, so I can get my fix, as it were, without endangering my life. As I believe I have also mentioned in a previous script, several of my family members have spent a not inconsiderable amount of time in the land down under. With my cousin George only returning to the UK recently because it'd run out of money. We can't make money in Australia. Isn't Australia, don't they have like a good currency? Don't they have like a strong currency? Don't people in Australia get like, isn't it like $20 minimum wage or something? So I thought they had lots of money, although now the Australian dollar's weaker. Who cares? Let's move on. As he was the most recent Australia survivor, it was he who I contacted for my research on this script, and so the credit, if not the fee, will go to him. And of course, Lorelei, who edits the video.
Damn right I do.
So, without further ado, let us take a terrifying dive into things that Australians find normal but the rest of the world finds bizarre.
Aussie, Aussie, Aussie! Aussie, Aussie, Aussie! 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 Aussie, Aussie, Aussie!
Just let me interrupt today's video to tell you, whoops-a-daisy, that it's brought to you by Backblaze, which is the ultimate data backup solution, something I have used for years, by the way. I think even before I had my first single sponsor on YouTube, I was using Backblaze, and that's because it's just the best option that possibly exists. Backblaze make backing up and accessing your data astonishingly easy. You've got unlimited cloud backup for Macs, PCs, and businesses, and it's all just $99 a year. It's truly unlimited. I back up a lot. And it's still $99 a year. It's an absolute bargain. Plus, are you worried about deploying it on multiple workstations? Don't be. Backblaze makes it a breeze, offering various deployment options. In fact, I don't anymore. I used to have 2 Backblaze subscriptions because I backed up 2 computers, but then I consolidated everything into 1 computer, so I don't do it anymore. But I did, and it was super easy. They've got a centrally managed admin console, making data protection extremely easy. And for those of you who want an extra layer of security, check out the Enterprise Control add-on for advanced governance needs. Plus, you've got Restore by Mail. If you've got a super slow internet connection, then you can just be like, cool, just my hard disk failed, so send me out a new hard disk with all of the data that was on that hard disk on it, and they'll just mail it to you, which is amazing. And you can ship it back, or you can just pay for the hard disk. It's a perfect system. Or if your internet's super fast, just download it. I'll just download it because I've got a mega fast internet, which is nice. So all you need to do to get digital peace of mind is go to backblaze.com/blaze. That lets them know I sent you, which is nice. And it's not just me recommending it, by the way. New York Times, Inc. Magazine, Macworld, PC World, LifeWire, Wired, Tom's Guide, 9 to 5 Mac, and more. Most importantly, me recommends it. So, backblaze.com/blaze for a fully featured no-risk trial. There's a link below. Thanks to Backblaze for sponsoring and backing me up for years. And now back to it. The entire country is literally out to kill you. The word literally is unfortunately one of those words that has been commandeered by young people and now seems to only be used in some ironic way that I don't really understand. Yeah, literally thing is kind of like, I've come around on that. I used to be like, well, not literally. You don't literally mean that. And now it's like, well, language evolves. It kind of doesn't matter anymore. It's like, people can say literally as like a point of emphasis. That's fine. People need to chill.
I literally mean literally. Literally.
A small part of me died the other day when I overheard my 6-year-old say, I literally died laughing. The small part of you died, Dave, because you're like, no, son, no! And he'd be like, Dad, I'm fine, I'm right here. Oh my God, I thought you literally died because of the laughter. No one thinks, it's fine, we can change it. I mean, my own flesh and blood playing fast and loose with the rules of the English language, that's not what his great-great-grandfather fought in the war for. No, it's not at all. The other one is like decimate, where someone's like, oh, I absolutely decimated that. And it's like, they think it means totally destroyed, but it literally means just like 1 in 10 people being killed. And I'm like, yeah, but that's not what it really means anymore. It does mean to like totally destroy, because language evolves and that's fine. However, I have carried out my research and it really does appear that very nearly everything in Australia has the ability to kill you in one way or another, so I don't feel too bad about the slight exaggeration. Imagine, if you will, you're a British person visiting Australia for the first time. You've saved up for months. You've spent 20 hours on a plane, and you sleep solidly for 24 hours to recover from the journey, and you're finally ready to hit the beach. Obviously, as a sensible traveller, you have consulted your 27-volume copy of Things That Will F*** You Up in Australia, and you're feeling rather confident. As you make your way down to the ocean, you carefully avoid several stonefish, the most venomous fish in the ocean, whose sting will result in death if not treated. Shit. Admire from a distance several blue-ringed octopi, golf ball-sized octopi, whose venom is also capable of killing a human, and finally wade out into the ocean for a relaxing swim. As you swim, your smugness only increases when you both recognize and avoid the box jellyfish, the most venomous jellyfish in the world, which is, you'll be surprised to hear, easily capable of ending a human life. What is up with Australia? Why is everything so poisonous down there? I never really thought about it. It's like, I know it's true. Is it because it's warm? It's because it's some southern hemisphere shit? Why is there so much more poisonous stuff where it's hot? Fortunately, before the sun has a chance to irrevocably damage your skin...
Well, apparently there's a limit. Somewhere between a nice summer's day and the full concentrated power of the sun!
Everybody is called out of the water because a shark has been spotted.
Oh, they're only white pointers, you big girl's blouse.
Never mind, you think as you arrive, you spotted a rather interesting looking area of forest and you decided to spend your afternoon exploring it. 2 hours later, you've had enough. What you had planned to be a relaxing stroll in the forest actually turned out to be the most harrowing experience of your life. You could barely take 3 steps without having to duck or step over a highly venomous snake. Poisonous spiders seemed to be everywhere, and even though they were not mentioned in any of your books, you have nearly been concussed by 6 or 7 drop bears. Nevertheless, you are still alive, and as you leave the forest and catch sight of your sports utility vehicle, you think that, at the very least, you will have an interesting story about how you braved the worst Australia had to throw at you and survived. As the huge adrenaline rush brought about by constantly fearing for your life begins to dissipate, you think it might be cool to immortalize this moment with a selfie, so you pull out your phone, lean casually against a tree,
Well, that was your first mistake.
and experience what is described as an immediate and severe burning and stinging at the site of contact, which then intensifies further over the next 20 to 30 minutes and will last from hours to several months before subsiding. What the fuck sort of ivy did you touch? That's right, in Australia, even the trees are out to get you. More specifically, the Gympie bush. Oh wait, I've heard of this. Isn't the one this is that's so painful that people have actually killed themselves because the pain was so intense? Which contains a potent neurotoxin so powerful and painful that according to one source, an army officer who accidentally grabbed some leaves to use as toilet paper was in so much pain they elected to shoot himself. Isn't that the sort of thing where it's like you're in so much pain, you just go into the hospital, they put you in a coma or something until it's subsided, right? Because it's like, holy shit, you don't want to be going through that. Before I kill myself, I'd be like, can you do the coma thing? Because it really hurts. And they'd be like, wait, you want to go into coma? I'd be like, fuck, yes, put me in a coma or I'm getting a fucking gun for myself. For any non-traveling Australians who may be watching, most of the rest of the world isn't like this.
It's not.
Boring.
For example, in the UK, we have one venomous snake, the adder, and the majority of natives will go their entire lives without ever encountering this creature. Even if you're unfortunate enough to be bitten by one of these snakes, I can personally attest to the fact that it only hurts for a little while. Wait, did you get bitten by an adder? Shit. For those of you who might be interested, my cousin George made it back from Australia having only been bitten once. That's enough! The bite from a white-tailed spider causes headaches, vomiting, diarrhea, lethargy, and mild psychosis. After eventually reporting to a hospital with the symptoms, he was told,
Don't do it!
"You'll be alright in a couple of days, mate.
Please, stop.
But we can sell you some antibiotics if you like." He was kind enough. It's a terrible Australian accent. Dave said I had to do it. When I'm forced to do it, I don't know. It doesn't feel right. I just need to naturally, channel my Australianness. He was kind enough to send me a series of photos that show the progression of the bite over a few days, so I shall send those to whoever edits the video and they can be included for your viewing pleasure. Maybe. Depends how graphic they are, because I don't want to get this video demonetized because I like money. Barbecue obsession. In the UK, having a barbecue is a big deal. Anybody who wishes to host an outdoor event that involves outdoor cooking will send out an invitation text message weeks in advance. Much planning and preparation must be carried out, including but not limited to exactly what each individual person should bring, whether alcohol will be provided, which family members can currently be in the same garden as other family members, and obviously exactly what time everybody must arrive so that the ceremonial lighting of the barbecue can be fully appreciated by as many people as possible. Dave, this is very... I don't know. This is not my experience of barbecues in the UK. If you have a barbecue, you just come around to my house. And then you provide food and drink, and people come and eat your food and drink. Isn't that right? And people, if they want to bring some booze, they will. But it's not mandatory. You're hosting. Is that what barbecues are like? Am I this out of touch with England?
No, it's the children who are wrong.
In addition, the original message will always, and I mean always, contain the phrase, weather permitting. If Britain had a written constitution, that would be in it. Although I was always aware that Australians took a much more casual stance when it came to barbecues, it wasn't until recently that I started enjoying Australia's finest television export, Bluey. Love Bluey. Excuse me. Love Bluey. That's when I realized public barbecuing was a thing. Initially, when my child pointed out that there was a barbecue at the play park, I figured that it was just a crazy piece of creative license being employed by the show's creators. Wait, this isn't just an Australian thing. I guess they don't have public barbecues in the UK. There's a few places in Prague, where I live, where there's it's either a barbecue area where you can bring your own barbecue and barbecue outside, but there's also some pre-set up barbecues, and there's also a place where you can rent barbecues. It's awesome. Surely, I thought, in a country that often gets so dry that accidentally starting a fire with your flip-flop friction is a real danger.
Strategic deployment of Aussie Fongs initiated Australia!
Nobody would allow spontaneous public barbecuing to take place, but it turns out I was wrong.
Attention. If you or a loved one was diagnosed with mesothelioma, you may be entitled to financial compensation.
It appears that many public places are equipped with unsupervised grills that anyone can use, and to hell with health and safety. I reckon that's because the grills there are much safer than the alternative, which is people just showing up with those disposable grills, which, I don't know, maybe they'll throw in the weeds afterward, the dry Australian weeds afterwards, and start a fire. But at least by putting it in a safe pre-made one, a substantial one, I feel like that might reduce the risk of fire, because just saying no barbecues, well, people are going to barbecue anyway, aren't they? It's Australia. It's worth noting that in the UK, the powers that be have taken a slightly different approach. While some campsites will begrudgingly allow the use of a disposable barbecue, it is by no means the norm. In addition, if you think that it would be a nice idea to hike into, say, the New Forest with a portable barbecue and a few snacks, then you'd better be prepared to battle with the park rangers. Seriously, these guys can smell a lit match from a mile away. Really? That's kind of a buzzkill. And it's the UK. When was the last time there was a forest fire? Never. Has there ever been a forest fire in the UK? I've never heard of it. People will be like, oh, Simon, you don't remember the forest fire of 2006 started by that person just trying to have a sausage? I might, maybe. I don't know. Vegemite.
Kill it with fire!
For anybody who's ever tasted this gastronomic abomination, the one-word title for this section will be enough. I thought I've never tasted Vegemite. I assume it's just like Marmite, right?
It's poison.
For anybody who remains blissfully unaware of what it is, Wikipedia will tell you that, quote, Vegemite is a thick, dark brown Australian food spread that's made from leftover brewer's yeast extract with various vegetable and spice additives. Isn't that what Marmite is? I like Marmite. It was developed by Cyril Callister in Melbourne, Victoria in 1922, and it was first sold in stores on the 25th of October 1923.
Mesothelioma is a rare cancer linked to asbestos exposure. Call now.
It sounds nice. I would eat that. I'm sorry, I would eat that. What Wikipedia won't tell you, and indeed what it is only possible to fully appreciate without having tasted it, is how utterly repellent this seemingly innocuous substance is. For those of you who have been unfortunate enough to consume Marmite, take that flavor as a base and multiply the atrocity by several orders of magnitude. Now I want to try it because this just sounds like more intense Marmite, and I already like how intense Marmite is.
Why are you the way that you are?
So, how did this alleged food come to exist? Apparently, and I find this hard to believe, it was not only the British who developed a taste for Marmite. Apparently, salty, bitter-tasting goo was also a favourite sandwich filler in Australia. Sadly, during the First World War, it became more and more difficult to import Marmite from the UK, and so a substitute was required. Having brewed my own beer on several occasions, I know what it takes to make. I know that it takes a special kind of mind to look at the sludge you have left over and think, I know, let's work out a way that we can eat this. Nevertheless, the British did it, and later so did the Australians. During my various travels, granted I'm not exactly a jet setter, I have tentatively inquired as to whether or not these two substances are consumed on a regular basis, and the answer seems to be a resounding no. Even America, where the idea of a tasty snack can include cheese squirted directly from a can or chocolate-covered bacon, I'd say cheese squirted directly from a can, fuck no. Chocolate-covered bacon? I'm down with that. 100% down with that. Look, Americans and your pancakes. I thought this would be the most disgusting thing in the world. Pancakes, then you put bacon on it and maple syrup. My aunt's an American. She came to visit and was like when I was a kid, I was like, yeah, pancakes with bacon and maple syrup. I'll make it for you. You got to try it. And I was like, this sounds horrible. And it was awesome. And I've eaten it ever since. America, they don't seem to have succumbed to either Marmite or Vegemite. While discussing the substance with cousin George, he proposed an interesting theory. In his opinion, Australians do not, in fact, like it either. He told me that apart from being repeatedly asked in bars whether or not the beer was warm enough for him, how he felt about Vegemite was the question he was asked most by strangers. Wait, Australians drink warm beer? My joke was always like, you must love Foster's.
Not funny!
Because that's the joke, because Foster's is terrible. And Australians don't drink it, even though it's always, what's the marketing campaign? There's like a Australian phrase that Foster's used when I was a kid, which I don't remember. But it was always something about like keeping it cool or something.
Come to a party that never ends for this is the land of unnamed.
Whenever he responded by saying that he would rather, say, enter a boxing match against a kangaroo or fill his underwear with stonefish than eat it again, he was invariably informed that this was because he was probably eating it wrong. Apparently, the trick is to spread only the very smallest amount, about the size of 2 grains of rice, onto your bread before liberally applying butter in artery-clogging quantities.
This is true?
This, he was assured, makes it taste delicious. Yeah, I mean, that's what you do with Marmite. I put the butter on first, I put some butter on. And then I put a little bit of Marmite. Maybe not. Like, I probably have 2 more on there than most people would like. But, like, spread it on top. It's delicious. What I took away from this advice is that as long as you use such a small amount that you can't actually taste it, it's absolutely fine. If anybody out there has attempted the microdose method of Vegemite consumption, please do let me know about it in the comments. Don't get me wrong, I'm never going to try it again, but comments from crazy people are always my favorite. I feel like I definitely want to get some Vegemite. Can I order some Vegemite? If this was a show where I would stop and like order some Vegemite or go to the store, it'd be, just where am I going to get that? I'm going to have to order it online, then I have to come back another day. Maybe I'll order it and we can try in a future video. Terrible internet. One of the things that I've come to take for granted is fast, reliable internet service. In the UK, you know what I will do? There's now a members thing. Every week, I do a members live stream. It's not actually live. We do it live on Discord, so you can watch even if you're not a member, because that's how generous I am. Wildly generous. If you watch it live, I'll eat some Vegemite before we get on with the main show. Second, if you do want to become a member, you can become a member, and then their video is edited by Lorelei and put into like a more concise, tolerable version. So if you want, become a member, and in the near future, you can watch me eat Vegemite. Plus, there's all sorts of content on there already from the last several weeks of members content, so you'll get that when you sign up. Brilliant, isn't it? My capitalist heart beats.
And now back to your regularly scheduled program.
In the UK, ranked number 34 in the broadband speed ranking table, the download speeds I require to keep my exceptionally busy network free of buffering are available, albeit at an utterly scandalous monthly cost. I have 1 gigabit internet, like 1 gigabit down, because that's the most I can get. And there is a fiber cable at the entrance to my building, which is just sitting there, waiting to be installed. And I'm like, as soon as I can have that, I can have 1 gigabit down, but also up.
I hate you.
And obviously, as someone who makes a lot of videos, the up speed matters a whole lot more to me. I'm just like, it's been there like a year and a half. and I'm like, building committee, who, run the building, please install the fiber. I want the fiber! However, while carrying out research that did not involve talking to my cousin, I quickly became aware that all may not be well with broadband services in Australia. In fact, there are entire internet forums, presumably set up and maintained by people outside the country, dedicated to informing the rest of the world just how difficult it can be to get onto the land down under.
No.
Now, it just so happens that a well-known and well-respected member of the Brainblaze team lives and works in Australia, and as video editing requires as much downloading and uploading of huge files, that's Lorelei, by the way, she's in Australia, I thought I'd send Lorelei a message and ask her whether the rumours were true. Her response, which presumably took an awfully long time to upload, was both amusing and informative, so with her permission I've included it below. I could perhaps forgive the speed of Australian internet, which is marginally faster than a sloth who's taken an overdose of the slow-mo drug from Dread, were it not for a reliability that is flakier than Leo DiCaprio when his girlfriend is days away from her 25th birthday. Yeah, Leonardo DiCaprio, literally. There's like a track record of him. It's like, girl becomes 25, and he's like, next girl. Like, Leonardo DiCaprio, what the fuck? I recently went for 2 days without internet and was lucky to have booked a technician from Telstra, one of Australia's quote-unquote esteemed telco companies, before the Australia Day long weekend, else it would have been more like 5 days. The admittedly empathetic technician was as befuddled as I had been when gazing upon my NBN installation, as nothing appeared to be out of order. A quick phone call to the NBN company later, and in essence it all came down to someone on their end having entered the wrong information, which is a perfect demonstration of the problem with Australian internet. All the phone companies that provide the NBN. What the fuck is NBN?
Check this out, mate. This is a new install, right? It's called fibre to the curb. And what that is we do fibre all the way up to here, right? And then from here up into the house, we do a special proprietary technology called thin fucking air. And what that is a bunch of little wireless hotspots that we wire up in the pit here, right, to a little power bank. And these beam a nice little 3G signal up into the house,
Which all households have been encouraged to change over to, are working with a third party. So when you call with a problem or fault, you're not actually talking to the company that provides your internet, you're talking to their secretary. If it should come to pass that I'm charged for that call, you can rest assured Telstra and I will be having words. This is, of course, after I've spent an hour on hold waiting for a customer service agent to actually answer my call. Now I feel bad for all of my bitching about my internet, because my internet's generally very good. Like, maybe it goes out like once or twice a year for an hour or two, and that's it. That's all the downtime. And I get upset when that happens, but generally that's pretty awesome. And I do have 50 megabits a second upload, which sucks, but it doesn't suck this bad. It's also cheap. I think I pay like maybe $40 American equivalent a month. Something like that. It's not expensive.
I hate everything!
And this is from someone who's living in the sultry tropical hell suburbs of Brisbane. I can't imagine the difficulties of those attempting to gain internet access in more remote areas, such as the Kirika community, the Nullarbor, or in Simon, if you mispronounce this, I will eviscerate you in the comments, out at Uluru.
I'm gonna cut your heart out with a spoon!
Okay. While those areas might be fortunate enough to avoid having to deal with the NBN, as I doubt they're eligible for such quality service, even the best packages will still have speeds so slow you'd seriously consider returning to the days of sending messages by carrier pigeon. So why is it so bad? Why is Australian internet ranked as number 93 in the world? Can't you just get like a satellite internet? Because aren't the satellites the same for everyone? Like, get one of those Tesla ones. What are they called? Starlink. Well, I'm not an expert, but I imagine it has something to do with the fact that everything is miles from everywhere. In countries as small as England, there really is no excuse for slow, poor quality broadband. However, given that in Australia it's not unheard of to live a long drive from your nearest neighbour and long cables result in high latency, providers could be forgiven for slower service in more rural areas. As for how providers seem to be able to get away with this in the cities, I really have no idea. And that, ladies and gentlemen and others, brings us to the end of this episode. I'd like to thank my cousin George for aiding me in my research, and Lorelei for a fascinating insight into Australian internet providers. And yeah, me too. Thanks everybody, and thank you for watching.
Aussie, 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 oi, oi, oi. Aussie, 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 oi, oi, oi.
You'll be alright in a couple of days, mate.
Please stop.